Hi, and welcome to Craggle. We develop tools for the visual effects industry. This is a documentation video on smartCollect, a multi-threaded batch archiving tool that lets you archive all of your Nukescripts in a quick and efficient way. Using smartCollect, you can archive, outsource, or simply collect and transfer your shots to other locations. First, let's install smartCollect, and then let's explore all of its features. Like any other Craggle product, smartCollect can be installed with Craggle Connect directly inside Nuke. For more information about Connect, please visit the link below. So open Connect and drag smartCollect to the right to reveal more information. Just click on Buy and you'll be located to the webpage where you can purchase smartCollect. After purchasing, you'll receive a mail including an install code. Now simply click on Install, enter your received install code, and smartCollect will be installed automatically on your machine. After the installation is finished, you will find a new submenu in your Craggle menu. To open the smartCollect main window, navigate to Craggle, smartCollect, smartCollector. This is how the smartCollector looks by default. It contains two sections, the Nukescripts list on the left-hand side and the archived list at the right-hand side. Let's append some shots to our smartCollector that we'll then archive. This folder here contains a nested folder structure including 3 shots with multiple versions. To add shots to smartCollect, we can simply drag and drop a folder onto the smartCollector, and smartCollect will scan the folder including all subfolders and append all Nukescripts, as we'll see here. There were 5 shots nested in this folder, which are now added to our Nukescripts list. This list is the place where you can add your Nukescripts. The listed Nukescripts in here remain even after closing the smartCollector, relaunching Nuke, and restarting your machine. There are actually several ways of adding Nukescripts. As we've seen, we can drag and drop a folder into here, and smartCollect will scan this folder for Nukescripts. But we can also drag and drop Nukescript files themselves in here, which will then be added to the list. And we can also right-click and add our current Nukescript to the list. We can also clear the whole list. Or right-click one Nukescript in here and choose Remove. Or press the D key on our keyboard, which will then remove the selected Nukescripts from our list. Please keep in mind that this will not delete the Nukescripts from your machine, it will simply remove the Nukescripts from our list in here. We can also reveal the Nukescripts in our Explorer. Using the Add to Archive List command, we'll add the Nukescript to our archive list on the right-hand side. This list represents all Nukescripts that we would like to archive. So in a nutshell, the Nukescripts list on the left-hand side is a place where we can dump all of our Nukescripts and folders that will be scanned. We can then select specific Nukescripts from this list and add them to the archive list on the right-hand side in order to archive them. Let's add the latest versions of the other 2 shots as well. So select them, and an alternative way of adding them to our archive list is to simply drag and drop them to here. So let's explore the archive list. Each Nukescript in here contains information about the Nukescript to archive. The most top Nukescript will show all its details. By double-clicking any of the Nukescripts in our list, we can show and hide the Nukescript's details. Each Nukescript in here contains multiple elements. Let's have a closer look. At the top we see the Nukescript's file name. If we hover over it, we can see its absolute path being displayed as a tooltip. Here at the top we see the archiving progress bar that shows the current archive progress. We'll see this one in action in just a second. And here we see the absolute output path. This is the path where smartCollect will archive to once we hit the blue Archive button. By default, this path will automatically be set to a folder with the same name as our Nukescript and reside next to our Nukescript to archive. In here we can always browse to a different output path if required. In a minute we'll see how to change the default output path, but let's continue for now. Next we'll find 3 buttons: Get Sources, Comment, and Archive. Let's click the Get Sources button. smartCollect will collect all used dependencies in this Nukescript and show them here in this text area below. So these are all sources that are used in this Nukescript and will be archived once we archive the Nukescript. By using this button, we can get a sense of the used dependencies for this Nukescript before we archive. Let's click the next button, Comment. The text area will be flushed and will become editable. In here we can add a comment if required. This comment will be added to our archive report, which we'll see in a minute. So let's add a comment, for example, final comp version including all render passes. Let's hit the Save Comment button and the comment gets saved. The most important button obviously is the Archive button. Let's click it. smartCollect will now gather all dependencies and archive them into the given archive output folder. In here we see our archive report, which includes all archive dependencies. Once the archive is completed and the progress is at 100%, the archive is finished. And that's it. We don't need to gather our sources manually. smartCollect archived everything automatically for us. Let's have a look at our archive. For that, let's right-click our Nukescript and choose Reveal, Archive. As already discussed, our archive resides directly next to our Nukescript. It contains three elements: the footage folder, which contains all of our sources, our archive report, and a copy of our Nukescript. Let's have a quick look at the footage folder. In here, each source has its own folder. By default, smartCollect will remap these paths to our backup script, so this script in here, to relative paths, which point to our footage folder. This makes transferring your backups very flexible because we're now able to transfer this backup to other locations and the sources in our Nukescript will stay connected. Let's have a quick look at the output report. In here we see all kind of metadata for our archive and also our comment, and all copied files. Let's switch back to Nuke and reopen the Smart Collector. And let's quickly discuss the other commands in our right-click menu for our Nukescript. At the top we find the archive command, which does the same as clicking our archive button. In here we can reveal our finished archive as we've already done so, and we can also reveal the archive log and the original Nukescript. When archiving our Nukescript, smartCollect will write a detailed log of what it's doing in the background. Let's have a quick look at it. So let's click the Reveal Log command. And in here we see detailed information of our archive process. Here we can collapse all Nukescripts and hide all information. And here we can remove our selected Nukescript. Again, this will not delete the Nukescript from our machine, but simply remove it from our archive list. So let's remove this shot as it has been archived and we don't need it residing in here any further. Let's click in an empty space in our archive list. Here we can batch archive all Nukescripts from our list. And again, collapse all Nukescripts and flush the archive list. Let's batch archive all shots. The shots get archived simultaneously. How many shots will get archived can be set in the settings. To open smartCollect settings, let's click the settings button here at the bottom right. In here we can find two tabs, General and Logging. In the General tab, we can edit various settings and change smartCollect on a global scope. The Always on Top checkbox will leave the Smart Collector always on top of all other windows. But we can disable this functionality if required. Here we can enable or disable showing tooltips for all major widgets. Let's have a deeper look at the next checkbox, Recreate Source Paths. When enabling this feature, the absolute paths of our sources will be rebuilt inside the footage folder of our archive. Let's have a look at how this works. So let's enable this checkbox and hit the Save and Close button. The settings will be applied immediately, so we don't need to restart Nuke. Let's flush our archive list. So right-click and choose Flush Archive List. And let's add this Nukescript in here. And click the Archive button. Once the archive is finished, let's right-click and choose Reveal Archive. And navigate into our footage folder. As we've enabled the recreation of our source paths, the folder structure of our original sources get rebuilt and we will have the same folder structure in here as our original sources had. This feature can become very powerful as we are now able to reconstruct where our original footage came from. Let's switch back to Nuke and reopen the settings. Next, we have the ability to convert gizmos into groups when archiving. This can become handy to make sure that our archive contains groups instead of gizmos, so that it's portable for machines that won't include our gizmos. And here we can set how many concurrent archive threads to use when batch archiving. So if we would like to run more archives simultaneously, we can simply increase this number. As previously discussed, the archive's output path will be set automatically next to our Nukescript once we add it to our archive list. If required, we can change this behavior in here and set a custom output archive path if we want all of our archives to reside in one central location. Finally, we have the ability to ignore Nukescripts that contain certain keywords in their name when we drag and drop a folder onto our smart collector. For instance, we can ignore Nukescripts that include the word backup or annotation, so these Nukescripts won't be appended to our Nukescripts list when scanning a dropped folder. Let's switch to the logging tab. In here we can set the logging output. We can choose to write to a log file which resides in our user home directory, Craggle, smartCollect, logs, or directly print to Nuke's terminal output, or disable the logging output. And in here we can set our logging level. The more the slider is set to the left, the more information we'll get. Finally, let's have a look at running smartCollect as a standalone application. Using a standalone application, we are able to archive our shots without the need to be inside of a Nuke session. Let's navigate to the smartCollect's installation folder. In here we'll find a folder called standalone, which includes a runnable file for each operating system. When double-clicking our runnable, smartCollect launches and will contain the same functionality as running inside Nuke. Please keep in mind, in order to launch smartCollect as a standalone application, you will need a running version of Nuke being installed on your machine. So this was a documentation video on smartCollect, a multi-threaded batch archiving tool that lets you collect all of your Nukescripts dependencies in a simple and quick way.